A BMX bike. Why not? What could possibly go wrong? No, seriously, this is how this went down. So my son's been racing BMX for a couple years, and I've been going to the track at least twice a week and watching him ride. And I'm just not used to sitting on the sidelines, literally, and watching people ride bikes. So I found the cheapest cruiser I could get. I got this from J&R Cycles down in St. Pete, Clearwater area, and it's a J&R BMX Superstore. And if you're into BMX, that's a great place. I've gotten both of Dawson's bikes there and other stuff. They had a Redline cruiser on sale for $305, about a third the price of the fork on my trail bike. So I couldn't pass it up. So why a cruiser? Well, I rode Dawson's 20, and by the way, I still have my hutch, but I rode Dawson's 20-inch around, and I was like, there ain't no way. It's like riding one of those little razor scooters is what I felt like. I felt like if I was going to hit a pebble, I would go over the bars. So a cruiser, in case you're not familiar with BMX terms, is a 24-inch bike as opposed to a regular BMX, which is 20. So I rode someone's cruiser around the track a few months ago, and it still felt super squirrely, but at least I felt like I could get used to it. So I am putting this thing together, and I'm going to start riding a BMX track. Now I have no intention on racing at all. It's just to kind of go and ride around the track when my son's riding, because most of the time he's over there, he's practicing. There are races once a week. I may do local stuff, but nothing beyond that. There's actually a state race this coming weekend that we're not going to. We're going to go mountain biking. So my son is still primarily into mountain biking, but he is a darn good little BMX racer. You know, I remember years ago, he was on the river, we were kayaking, and he's like, Dad, I think I want to try BMX. Fast forward 3 months later, and he won nationals as a beginner. So he's quite a good little BMX rider. It's a good bike. I figured, you know, if I end up not liking it, I can give it to Dawson for a dirt jumper or something. Maybe he could race cruiser. So while I finish this up, let me just say that like many of you, BMX was kind of my starting point into cycling. I mean, I had a Huffy when I was a kid, and I used to, you know, jump wooden ramps. But when I first saw a BMX track, it was in Peachtree City, Georgia. It's where I lived until I was 12 years old. And when I first saw a BMX track, I was so stoked to get into BMX. And I moved to New Jersey right after that, but then I got my hutch right after I moved to New Jersey. I think I got it for Christmas that year. It was $500. I thought that was like a Lamborghini price. I was never a really great BMX racer. I have had much more success on mountain bikes and cyclocross bikes. But I had a blast doing BMX. We built a super sweet track up in the area where I lived, and man, we rode that thing every day. I'd put on my full face helmet, my gloves, and just ride that track until I was exhausted. But I had a lot of fun racing BMX. Like I said, I really wasn't that good. I mean, I got some wins and I have quite a few trophies, but I don't think I even made it past intermediate class, to be honest with you. But we had a good time doing it. So, all right, this thing's almost done. I'm going to show you this sweet $300 bike. Not only was this the least expensive bike I've bought in a very long time, maybe ever, it's also the easiest bike I put together. So let's take a look at this thing. Redline cranks, V-brakes. I remember when I used to race BMX, I never had a cruiser, by the way. I always had the 20-inch, but I always thought the cruisers looked like the wheels were so big. Now my mountain bike's a 29er with 2.5 tires. Single brake, of course, since it's a BMX bike. Decent little stem. One thing I'll say, Dawson and I went back and watched video of people racing back in the 80s, like pros. And the skill level today, like there's, you know, intermediates that are better than the pros rode back then. Everybody crashed like all the time without anybody touching them. We were so bad, but we had so much fun. Okay, that's my Redline cruiser. Kind of stoked about getting out on the BMX track. That'll be next week. I might make a video of that. All right, thanks for watching. Dawson already took my BMX bike. He likes it.